Hi everybody, it's Nick McDonald speaking from Trade with Precision. Welcome to ICE Commentary this week, and in a moment we'll take a look at the US dollar index and currency markets. Just before we do so, I just want to bring your attention to a webinar that we have running in less than 24 hours time in association with ICE. I will be presenting this webinar. It's called The Critical Trading Errors, and we'll go through what the errors are that we see traders make time and time again, and also just show you how to become more aware of these errors and some pointers for how to avoid them. The session takes place 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. that's 8 p.m. London, 7 a.m. Sydney on Tuesday, 9 a.m. Auckland. So this is all Monday 18th of November in the Northern Hemisphere, or Tuesday morning in the Southern Hemisphere. If you'd like to register for that, you can do so via the link which is in the email where you received the link to these videos. If you don't have that link there, then you can also visit our website, tradewithprecision.com. Click here on free live webinars, which takes you to the page I'm on now, and you'll see the top one. So long as you are here ahead of the webinar time itself, you'll see it there, Critical Trading Errors. Click on Register Now, and it takes you to the registration page to join us for that webinar, and I look forward to seeing many of you there. Back to the charts. Now, last week I was looking at it having broken up through 81, was bullish therefore, looking for any long opportunities on pullbacks into 81 before pushing on up towards 82. As it happens, we've come back and we're just a little bit down below 81 now, and doesn't really change anything in the longer term view. And if we just come and have a look at this on a monthly chart, we've come down and bounced off support. What you can see a number of other times is we've bounced off the support level, like say back here, we were down there for 5 months before getting a rally. Here we were there for a couple of months, here a couple of months, here as well we had 1-2 months down there, rallied, came back for another 3 months before pushing off. So the fact that we're just down hanging around this level is very, very normal behavior. The main thing and the main reason I'm looking for a more bullish move now in the dollar index is that we're down at the bottom of that range. We have rejected the support and we've broken up through the highs of that candle, and therefore looking more likely to continue upwards from here than we are to push downwards. However, there is nothing at all to say we're not likely to keep on testing that support. We may well be range bound for a while. We have been range bound on the dollar index, as we all know, for a very long time. We're just looking at short-term trends and looking to trade those short-term trends, but also looking to trade the short-term trends around the support and resistance levels around 81. So even last week, even though I was bullish last week, there is still opportunities. For example, here I'm looking now at a 15-minute chart here where we broke down through 8100. Notice here just a nice little short-term pullback into 8100 and a move down off it again. We can look for opportunities like that for intraday traders. Even on a longer term, even on the long side, there were certainly breaks up through 81 and pullbacks in, bouncing off, a bigger pullback and hovering around there, little bounces. There's a couple of times it came close to 8100 here. So certainly these levels continue to act as the major support and resistance levels. I'm not looking to trade every single time the dollar index tests 81, but what I am looking to do is just look for good, sensible opportunities, and most of them for me for a number of months have been coming around these big levels. 8100 just happens to be the closest one. So while I am still bullish now in the mid to longer term in terms of I think that we'll start to rally from here, I'm looking for those windows of opportunity, for example between 81 and 82. Right now we are below 81. So I'll look for both long and short trades around that level, but I will look to, the deciding factor will not just be prices testing 81, but it will be what is the short-term trend. I.e., if I'm trading a 15-minute chart, I'll look at what's the 15-minute and 1 hour and 2 hour chart trends, so it's relevant, the trend is relevant for that time frame. So shorter term, I'll look for trades around those levels, but longer term I am bullish and looking for a bigger opportunity as price now rallies from the bottom of this monthly chart range and moves up towards the higher point of this range that we are in, potentially back up towards 8500. In the short term, however, a few things have happened. One thing is that the weekly chart has started to look a little bit more bearish. It might mean we come down and test 80 again, so I am equally looking for those opportunities if I see them to the short side. Right now I'm still more bullish than bearish, but I will, just because we are below 8100, I'll be looking, if we do break lower, break down through last week's candle, for example, then I'd be looking for pullbacks into 8100 for a bearish move down towards 80. Now, why is that happening, and why am I still tentative and still leaning towards the bullish side? Well, one thing is that the euro dollar is also testing the top of its range again. Well, not so much the top of its range as quite a good resistance level up here at 135. This is a good level, been a good level in the past, good levels of resistance. And actually, as we last week, you'll recall we were right down below it down here. We're now right back up around it. So we're just drawn to these levels, drawn to big support and resistance levels. We're there now, but we are still just slightly below. You can see the closing price last week, 134.95. So for now, I am still slightly bearish euro dollar as long as we're below that level, therefore slightly bullish on the dollar index. I will though watch euro dollar closely because any breaks up through last week's high and even the high of the week before last will be some bullish indications of potentially a move upward. Therefore, that would be the equivalent of a move downward on the US dollar index. So euro dollar is the main one for us to be watching this week. Dollar yen, in fact, I'll just quickly look at dollar yen because I pointed out dollar yen being also bullish for the US dollar in the past, and actually that is one that is starting to now move in the right direction. Did start to move up last week, but just held back a little bit by those moves in the opposite direction on euro dollar, which we've just seen so often, where dollar yen is out of sync with, say, things like euro dollar and cable. So just keeping an eye on all of these. Seeing what happens with euro dollar at 135. If it declines from that level, then it really reinforces that point of US dollar index going higher. If, however, we break up through that level, it will start to give some indication of the dollar index potentially just moving back down towards the bottom of the range, and therefore it will be very quick to just look for those short opportunities around the 81 level on the way down towards 80, and potentially even if we do break down through 80, from 80 down towards 79. So just to recap quickly, two scenarios. If we start to if we continue up above 81 in the early part of this week, I'll be looking for opportunities around that level from 81 up to 82, just making sure that trades are always in the direction of a short-term trend. If, however, we fail to do that and we break down through last week's lows before breaking up through the highs, then I will be looking for short opportunities equally between the same levels or around the same level of 8100 but down towards 80, and just looking to trade those windows of opportunity in the direction of the short-term trend around the big numbers and looking to run trades between one big number to the next, i.e. from 81 down to 80 or from 81 up to 82, depending on the direction that the market gives us early this week. Hope that helps, ladies and gents, and I'll speak to you on Ice Commentary next week.